Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day so far. My name is Josh, and in today's video, I'm going to be quickly going over some stimulus updates, including the infrastructure bill that's currently on the table, Biden's American Families Plan, the child tax credit payments, along with some other stimulus related news. But first, if you enjoy stimulus related content like in this video, and you wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up button, it would definitely help me out. Okay, so jumping right into it today, the IRS recently announced its Dirty Dozen tax scams for 2021, so these are definitely some of the things that you should look out for. One of these things, of course, includes the economic impact payment theft. It says here that a continuing threat to individuals is from identity thieves who try to steal economic impact payments, also known as stimulus payments. Most eligible people will get their payments automatically from the IRS, and that taxpayers should watch out for these telltale signs of a scam. Any text messages, random incoming phone calls, or emails inquiring about bank account information, or requesting recipients to click a link or verify data should be considered suspicious and deleted without opening. So if you receive any type of emails, text messages from people claiming to be the IRS, just go ahead and delete those. The IRS is not going to text message you or email you telling you to click on links to receive your stimulus payments. Furthermore, it also says to be alert to mailbox theft. Frequently check mail and report suspected mail losses to postal inspectors. And another thing you can do actually through the U.S. Postal Service, you can actually sign up for a service on the U.S. Postal website. I will link that in the description box below. So every single day you'll actually receive an email from the U.S. Postal Service letting you know exactly what's going to come in the mail. So if you haven't yet received your third stimulus payment, or you're still waiting on any of the stimulus payments, you will receive an email, and if you see something that looks like could be your stimulus payment, you'll know that would be a good day to go out and check your mail. So moving on, another thing that they have on here is to don't fall for stimulus check scams. The IRS won't initiate contact by phone, email, text, or social media asking for social security numbers or other personal or financial information related to economic impact payments. So like I just said, if someone reaches out to you claiming to be the IRS, no matter how professional they may seem, no matter how professional the email may seem, it may look like it's actually coming from the IRS. Believe me, it's not going to be the IRS. The IRS is not going to contact you on WhatsApp, text messages, email, certainly not Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. The IRS is not going to contact you in that way. In fact, the IRS is not going to contact you in any manner. They're not going to ask for gift cards in return for the stimulus payments. You will receive them automatically, so the IRS is not going to contact you. So please let your family members, friends, neighbors, and everyone else know about these scams, because unfortunately, people do fall victim of these scams, and yes, it does happen. So obviously, one of the big scams on this list did relate to those economic impact payments, which then leads me to my next story, where a man in Southern California was recently sentenced to 18 months in prison. Reason being, he broke into at least 94 mailboxes to steal stimulus checks. Apparently, on at least 4 different occasions, he had used a flathead screwdriver and pry bar in order to open up dozens of post office boxes in the San Diego area. Some of the mail that was stolen had included credit cards and $6,500 worth of checks belonging to people, businesses, and nonprofits. Some of these checks, of course, were economic impact payments. Now, obviously, you hate to see fraud take place at any time, but it's even worse when struggling families that were really relying on these checks were having them stolen by people like him. So definitely glad they've been able to track down some of these scammers, and hopefully he will learn his lesson for the future. In some other stimulus news, if you haven't yet received the most recent relief payment of $1,400, you're definitely not alone. But no worries, payments are still being sent out, and $6 billion more in stimulus money was sent out in the last month. It was reported that most of the recent stimulus check money went to households earning less than $50,000 per year. So again, if you're still waiting on the third relief payment, they're definitely still going out, and you should expect to receive yours very soon. If you haven't filed a tax return within the last 2 years, and you're not currently on Social Security benefits, then you will need to go ahead and fill out a tax return, which can be done on the IRS website in just a few minutes. Once you do so, you can claim your stimulus money on line 30 of the form that you fill out. And with that said, let me know in the comment section below whether or not you received the $1,400 stimulus payment. In some other stimulus related news, in just 2 weeks, the first batch of child tax credit payments are set to go out. That's right, on the 15th of July, if you have children under the age of 18 by the end of this year, you should receive some type of payment. For each child you have under the age of 6 by the end of this year, every single month you'll be receiving $300 per child. Then for each kid you have under the age of 18 at the end of this year, you'll be receiving every single month $250. As far as newborns go, if you had a child this year, at some point you'll be able to update that information through the child tax credit portal and begin receiving those payments. If, for whatever reason, the IRS never allows people to update their dependents through the portal, in that case, you'll be able to claim the full credit of $3,600 on your tax returns next year. No worries though, the IRS has said they should be having an update to their portal very soon where people can update the amount of dependents that they have. In the meantime, as I already mentioned, the first payment will be going out based on the amount of dependents that you listed on your most recent tax return on the 15th of this month. And again, as long as you didn't recently have a change in income where at this point you're making much more and therefore could be ineligible to receive your payment, then there's no real reason to opt out of your payment. However, if you do wish to opt out of these payments, there are some deadlines to do so. The first one at this point in time you will definitely receive. It's too late to opt out. However, there is still some time if you wish to opt out of the next one. The next one will be coming on August 13th. It's going to be a little bit earlier because I believe the 15th will be falling on a weekend. So if you wish to opt out, you'll need to opt out by the 2nd of August. And you can see the rest of the opt-out deadlines up on the screen here. The next one for that will be August 30th and October 4th, November 1st, and then November 29th. And as you can see, all the payments mostly fall on the 15th. So if you do wish to opt out, you will have those opportunities. And the only real reason you can opt out is if you're getting a much higher pay raise, which would make you ineligible to receive these payments. So let's say as a single filer, last year, based on your tax returns, you were just making $40,000 per year, but then you get a huge pay raise and you're now making $300,000 per year, you would no longer be eligible for these payments. So if you were receiving these payments, let's say that you received $1,800 in child tax credit payments, unfortunately, in that case, since you had such a huge pay raise, you would no longer be eligible for the child tax credit, and therefore you'd have to pay all of that money back. Alrighty, so in other stimulus-related news, Republicans and Democrats are still trying to work out some type of deal based around infrastructure. After President Biden seemingly endorsed a bipartisan deal made between members of the Senate, it's being reported that fewer than 10 House Republicans will actually support it. So it doesn't seem like it's really getting all that much support from Republicans, at least in the House. On any note, in the House, if it even gets that far, it would only need a simple majority, and since Democrats had the majority, they wouldn't have too many issues in passing the bill. However, the kicker is, so far at least, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has already made things pretty clear that she is not going to pass the bipartisan bill based around infrastructure if it isn't also attached to a separate bill based around things such as addressing climate change. So it doesn't really matter that a bipartisan deal was reached in the Senate. It doesn't matter that President Biden is backing it because in the end, unless Nancy Pelosi in the House gets behind it and Chuck Schumer in the Senate gets behind it, it won't even be voted on. In the meantime though, the House is expected to vote on another infrastructure bill at some point this week that was drafted by Democrats. This bill, containing around $547 billion in new spending, is expected to gain no support from Republicans, and once it passes, which it should since Democrats do have the majority in the House, they'll go home for their 2-week recess. Now, the main complaint from Republicans about this bill is the fact that it would dedicate way too much funding to provisions aimed at addressing climate change. So, for example, it would actually increase funding for Amtrak. In addition to that, it would also require states to fix existing roads and highways before being able to expand them with additional roads to address congestion. Finally, one more thing I do want to note is that none of these bills based around infrastructure, nor the American Families Plan, includes a forced stimulus check. And at this point, the chances of getting a forced stimulus check, like the most recent one of $1,400, the one in December for $600, and the very first one of $1,200, something like that, is very, very unlikely. Even though we did have Vice President Kamala Harris when she was in the Senate pushing for recurring monthly payments of $2,000. Now that she's vice president, she's not really pushing for that anymore. In none of these plans, we see President Joe Biden pushing for another stimulus check. We don't see House Speaker Nancy Pelosi talking about one. And we don't see Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer talking about one either. The only people really talking about one at this point in time are the progressive Democrats in both the House and the Senate. But other than them, other than those 80 House and Senate Democrats, there's not a whole lot of push. There's zero push from Republicans for another stimulus check. And in whole, the Democrats as a whole, they're not really pushing for a stimulus check. So other than the child tax credit payments of either $300 or $250 if you have kids under the 18 and you are within the income eligibility requirements, there's not going to be any additional stimulus. And really it's questionable whether or not that's even a stimulus, because it's really just the child tax credit. You're just getting it earlier rather than having to wait until next year, and it's also higher than it's been in previous years. So unfortunately, it's looking like we're not going to be getting another stimulus check other than those child tax credit payments. Okay, so on that note, I am going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you would like to earn a couple of free stocks from Webull, for a limited period of time for my viewers, they are offering a couple of free stocks. So if you would like to take advantage of that offer, make sure to click the link in the description box below. Once you click the link and open an account with Webull, at that point you'll receive your first free stock. This one will be valued all the way up to $300. Then if you make a deposit of at least $100, which you can then transfer back to your bank account or invest in more stocks, at that point after you make that initial deposit, you'll receive the second free stock. This one will be valued all the way up to $2,000. And if you don't wish to invest at all at this point in time, you can even sell those stocks. So if you receive a combined value of stocks of $100, for example, you can sell those stocks around $100 and also transfer that money back to your bank account as well. So either way, it's either going to be 2 free stocks or pretty much money, since you're going to be selling the stocks and you can transfer that money to your bank account. So again, if you would like to take advantage of the offer, make sure to click my link in the description box below. And on that note, if you did enjoy the content in this video and you would like to see more videos like it, I would greatly appreciate it if you could give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also ring the notification bell. That way, you'll be the very first to know when I do upload a new video. Okay, so until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a great day today.